Sahana vavatu Sahano bhunaktu Sahaviryam karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Gently open your eyes. I'm going to request people in the back to come into the front since there's nobody really here today. I promise you, you won't be taking somebody else's spot. Usually, when there's smaller classes, I kind of make it go off topic and do more of a discussion style. So we'll see what happens today. Maybe we'll keep it brief and then we'll do more discussion. So, okay. So let's chant, lead and repeat Sadhana Panchakam, the first verse. Vedo nityam adhiyatam taduditam Vedo nityam adhiyatam taduditam Karma svanushthiyatam Karma svanushthiyatam Tene shasya vidhiyatam apachitihi Tene shasya vidhiyatam apachitihi Kamye matistyajyatam Kamye matistyajyatam Papo gaf paridhuyatam bhavasukhe Papo gaf paridhuyatam bhavasukhe Dosho nusandhiyatam Dosho nusandhiyatam Atmecha vyavasiyatam nijagruhat Atmecha vyavasiyatam nijagruhat Turnam vinirgamyatam Turnam vinirgamyatam Vedo nityam adhiyatam taduditam karma svanushthiyatam. Study the Vedas every day and perform your duties, your dharma, your karma, everything according to the Vedas. Tene shasya vidhiyatam apachitihi. Then those karmas, those karmas, offer that to Bhagavan. That's how we get past our vasanas, our tendencies. Offer that to Bhagavan. Kamye matistyajyatam. That kama karma, that the kamya karma is the one that gives us problems, right? Take that and throw it away. Tyajyatam from your mind. We had a good question about how do we do that. We'll continue and I'll get to that question. Papo gaf paridhuyatam. Wash away the hordes of papa. Papa. Remember papa? We said it's not just a list of things you shouldn't do. Papa is anything that prevents us from having a pure mind. Anything that causes mental agitation. That's how Gurudev defines it. Mental agitations. So yes, we can get into the technicalities, but does it help us live a better life? Not really. Not right now. What will help is reflection on where am I? What are my vasanas? Which vasanas affect me? And which ones aren't really something I struggle with? Because if I don't struggle with something, what's the point of practicing it? Just to boost my ego? I don't have a problem waking up at 5. I do it every day. Good for you. Where's the challenge? Where's the growth? So growth only happens when we are willing to reflect and identify where can I be better. If we don't know, I'm sure we can ask our spouses and our kids and our bosses. They'll tell us, this is where you need to work on. These are the problems. But it's better when we look at it ourselves. We respond better when it comes from introspection rather than other people pointing fingers. So I reflect, figure out where my lower tendencies are, why they pull me down, and then work on those. Then the papas will be gone. And what is the simplest way? Offer everything to Bhagavan. not just the good, also the bad in us. Because Bhagavan is the only one who can and will and wants to accept us as we are. So, papogaf paridhuyatam, bhava sukhe doshonu sandhiyatam. This is the answer to the question that was asked last week. That's how amazing our scriptures are. Usually when a question comes, they've already primed us to get that question, and then the answer is in the next verse. So what does it mean? Recognize that the pleasures of sense objects, which is samsara, what we're living in and as every day, samsaris we are, they are riddled with pain. This is so sad. Why are you telling us this? See, the question was about, okay, let's say that eating sweets is my problem. Is the solution to have the cake in front of me and do dhyanam and say, don't eat it? Don't eat it. Is it still there? Don't eat it. Do we force ourselves into this? See, some people, there's different techniques, and that's psychology's department. I'm not a psychologist, right? I have studied the Vedas. That doesn't mean I'm a Vedantin full-fledged. I've studied the Vedas, and in the Vedas and in Self-Unfoldment, which is a starting text, and by Puja Gurudev, it talks about how do we reduce these vasanas. Detect, which is a reflection. Detect diligently in ourselves what is going on. Next, negate the negativity. Negate the negativity. Then, substitute it with something positive. So, chocolate. Back to an example, down to earth. Chocolate cake is in front of me, okay? And if chocolate cake isn't what tempts you, find something that does, right? Replace it. It's in front of you. What I can do is analyze, and that's what Archana ji said in her answer to the question. If you investigate, why does this chocolate cake tempt me? And what will I get from eating it? Sometimes that is enough for us to drop it. So let's get deeper. Chocolate cake is there. Why do I want to eat it? Easy. It's making me salivate. It looks good. The last time I ate it, it tasted so good. The smell, all of our senses are, it just looks so beautiful. All the cream is just falling around. And then inside it's that fluffy. Outside is the creamy. And if you have what are those Oreo cookies, then you have also the crunchy, right? Every sense organ is engaged. The smell, the look, the taste. And when you touch it, how many of you take that before the birthday cake is cut? You're like, I'm just checking if it's good. Right? Even when you touch it, it feels so soft. I know babies, when they do their first birthday, whether they eat cake or not, they do some smash cake thing. They just like to squeeze it. Whether it goes in their mouth or not, it's that texture. It's just so, play with it. So there's enough things to entice me. I don't even need to speak about this, but I'm doing it to get us in the zone. Now, what are the negative things? What's negative about that? Well, I just got a cavity removed a couple of weeks ago. Do I want another one? Okay. Next, my blood sugar is staring at me. And do I really want to increase it by getting tempted by this cake? Right. Next, if I eat now, then maybe somebody else will want to eat it and they shouldn't eat it. Secondary temptation, right? Just like secondary smoke, secondary temptation. If I eat it, then my mother or grandmother or somebody else will want to eat it, or my child will want to eat it and they shouldn't because they're just getting fresh teeth, so beautiful and healthy. So am I influencing people around me because of that? With everything that tempts us, there can be a million things why we shouldn't do it. Where is the friction? Where's the gap? Does that matter to me? Do I care? And it's one time I'm eating this cake. Do I care if my blood sugar goes up or down just one time? It's just once. That's usually what grandparents do. Adi, eat this chocolate just once to all the grandkids. And the parents are like, no, that's what you say every time. Whenever we bend to the temptations even once, it changes our habits and our discipline gets shaken. I bend once, what's stopping me from bending twice, thrice, 4 times, and you have a huge cheesecake from Costco in your freezer. It's gonna go bad, I have to eat it. You're trying to use the logic the other way, right? So logic can help us put a gap between our thought and our action. Think, my mind says, eat it, done. You see kids, that's what they do. Don't touch it, don't touch it. There's no gap. There's no time. That reflex is just there. What the intellect does is give us the opportunity to pause. When the intellect obstructs and says, hey, I'm gonna, it's like throwing that football and then you have somebody interception, right? The whole game changes. The intellect intercepts between the mind and the action and says, stop. Think. Do you really want to do this? And again, it's up to us to decide ultimately, but it gives you that gap, right? Let's say that gap doesn't help. Well, even my intellect says don't do it, I still do it. Each one of us is governed by a different equipment in our body, in different times. So sometimes my mind, my emotions get the best of me, right? I remember I was working with individuals with type 2 diabetes, okay? Type 2 diabetes, for the most part, I'm not a medical doctor, in general, is preventable or manageable. Preventable meaning you don't pass it on to your babies if you can control yourself during pregnancy and things like that. But also manageable, meaning even if you have it, diet and exercise can help manage it. So it was a lower income neighborhood. My job was to go educate them, right? But I also wanted to interview them and say, hey, what causes you to change your habits and not change your habits? And I would go talk to people, and the majority of my results, this is not published anywhere because it was from my own understanding, and they were just casual interviews. People don't, unfortunately, care about their own health. You tell them that they have to get their foot amputated because there's an ulcer because of the diabetes, they're like, oh, okay, another foot, whatever. It hurts, but not enough to change. They'll sit and they'll eat their next flan or next whatever, right? It won't hurt enough to make a change. Then talk to people who have changed their habits. Their wife or husband gets diagnosed with type 2 diabetes and the diet in the house has to change. They start cooking better, not just for that wife or husband, but for the entire family. They start eating better. A woman with diabetes is pregnant. Gestational diabetes risk. She completely changes her lifestyle for the well-being of her unborn child. Right? So there are some of us who will change our entire lifestyle and behavior because of an emotional pull. This is where people say sometimes trauma helps. This is controversial. But when bad things happen, they can be the most transformative times in our life because you don't have a choice. You've heard of rock bottom. When we hit that, there's no other way but up. Now, back to the chocolate cake. While you're floating in life and it's one chocolate cake, it doesn't. You will make this way, that way. You'll lean. You'll be flexible. But let's say you are very close to having a life-threatening event. Your blood pressure is already high. Maybe you're visiting the hospital more than you'd like. Or your wife is pregnant and has gestational diabetes, am I going to sit there and eat that chocolate cake in front of her? Some of you are like, I'll eat it in the car when she's not looking. So let's take this and apply it now. We've seen an example, we've seen the theory. When we look at this world, we see pleasure more than the pain associated with every pleasure. Oh, but you're mistaken. Swadiji, there is joy. Stop being such a, Debbie Downer. Have you, when you get married, the celebration. Have you been to a wedding recently? Have you fallen in love? Have you had a child? There's so much beauty in this world. Open your eyes. Smell the coffee. Right? Beauty is, of course, what Bhagavan gives us. But when we attach expectations to all of these things, these sense objects in samsara, yes, a wedding can be beautiful. I've actually helped conduct a wedding for my cousin, and it's a beautiful process, beautiful rituals. But that's not the end of marriage. That's the beginning of marriage. That's the beginning of how one identifies the negatives and positives in oneself and begins to transform. If we want to stay how we are, we shouldn't get married, we shouldn't have kids. How about become a sannyasi? Even that. That becomes tough too. So then what should we do? Why are we given the human birth? If we want to sit and do nothing and remain ignorant, our next birth is not going to be here. That's just how Karma Siddhanta works. So whether you become a sannyasi, a grahastha, or you're a brahmachari, work on ourselves we must. Act we must, Gurudev says. But do I see the world for how it is? Yes, marriage is beautiful, but it takes hard work. Yes, children can be a blessing and a joy, but they can also turn your insides out. They test your patience. They test your compassion, your empathy. And it's an opportunity to make you a better person, but not in the easiest way. Right? And I know my parents, initially I was offended. My parents would be like, you've taught us a lot about attachment. Because of things I would do or places I would go and the kind of life I wanted to live. But now I realize, hey, that's my job. You have to let go of that, because if we say, okay, we want to keep everyone happy and just ignore our own growth, we are going to be bitter and bottle things up. You have to be an active participant in your own life. Because sometimes the other thing we do is just whatever. You do you, you do you, you do you. I'm just going to step back. If you are truly detached, great. Then you've mastered it. But if it is inside and bubbling and that anger and that neglect and all of that, then we're pulling us down deeper. A wise person's way of looking at the world is just as it is said here. Bhava sukhe doshonu sandhiyatam. Find the defects in the world while living in the world, while being appreciative and grateful of the world. That just seems so, that doesn't match. That seems so conflicting. Do we want to live a peaceful life? If the answer is yes, then that is the only method that the Shastras say. And when we need that support, we're not alone. Shastras don't say, okay, go down this path, I'm going to push you. Bhagavan says, hold my hand. I know this is hard. Arjuna says to Bhagavan Krishna, Bhagavan, I want to do the right thing, I can't. I don't want to do the wrong thing, but I'm doing that only. We're no different from Arjuna. And we need to take that hand. Arjuna was lucky enough to have Bhagavan Krishna right there at his feet, right, guiding his chariot. We have to see Bhagavan's there with us every step of the way. And what is there? He doesn't even need to be in front of us. He could be carrying us. We don't know. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye janah paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahami aham. Bhagavan Krishna says, don't think of anything else. Just think only of me. Ananyas chintayanto mam. Ananya, don't think of other things. Think of only me. And I will take care of your yoga and kshema. What you need and what to keep you safe and secure. I will take care of it. How? Vahami. Vahami means carry. I will carry you on my shoulders. He says that. So don't think, oh, it's just so cold-hearted. I have to see the bad in the world, but also the divine. This is too much work. I'd rather go back to coding or whatever I do. But that's the beauty of Vedanta. If it says that I'm going to offer you unconditional peace, love, that Sat Chit Ananda, that consciousness, that bliss, you think it'll come easy? Here you go, $10. I'm passing it out right now. When something is worth it, it will require the effort. Some people feel like it doesn't require effort. You know why? Because they're already holding on to Bhagavan's hand. I've seen so many people struggling, but they don't seem perturbed by it at all. They're just going on with life. And I'm sitting here, oh, the milk is spoiled this morning. My whole day is ruined. And the smallest things can make our lives just feel ruined. Why? I'm not holding on hard enough. And they have Bhagavan. They talk to Bhagavan every day. They let this shoulder in front of Bhagavan. They don't walk around like this. They don't walk around like this. Some of you, I've never seen you smile. I'm not even kidding. And it's been over a month. Not a single smile. Why? The weight of the shoulders are on me. I walk around as though I am struggling to take every step. But what is possible is, in front of Bhagavan, at least I can let it go. I can breathe. I can say, Bhagavan, enough. Enough of this ego thinking that this is all there is. Offer it to Bhagavan. Papogaf paridhuyatam bhavasuke doshonu sandhiyatam atmecha vyavasiyatam nijagrahat turnam vinirgamyatam. So you're like, finally she's finishing this one verse. It's been a month. But you saw so much that we've seen. So many foundational things. So this last line, Atmecha vyavasiyatam nijagrahat turnam vinirgamyatam. Seek the self with constant endeavor. Escape from the bondage of home. Now, I don't want you all to go home, pack your bags, and say, hey, that's what I learned on Sunday. Bye, I'm going on vacation. Here, first pursue or seek the self. What is the self? That's Sat Chit Ananda, the eternal truth, consciousness, bliss. What is that? Layman's term, peace. How do I have a peaceful life? Pursue it. You don't get anything in this world without pursuing it, correct? You don't say, oh, I want to be a billionaire. Boom! It's not some Aladdin or genie that you rub a lamp. I want to be the best in my company. How hard do we work? I want a good spouse. Okay, some of us worked harder than others to find a good spouse. Some of us succeeded, some of us did not. No, but everything in life requires effort. And if we think, okay, just to analyze for ourselves, right? I do this very frequently. How many times do I think about pursuing the truth and Atma, and Atmecha, it says, wanting that truth and peace? And how many times do I think about being irritated, irritating others, getting that promotion, getting that money, whatever it is, right? From the morning when we wake up till we sleep, most of our thoughts are about getting ahead in so many other things. Unfortunately, that's a short-term goal. If we are peaceful, pleasant people, when we are peaceful and pleasant people, you will be a better father, a better husband, a better wife, a better sister, a better manager. You can see those managers on their 8:30 a.m. calls that are grouchy because they did not have their meditation the night before or the morning. And that puts everybody in a bad mood, and one person's blaming the other, and your stand-up call feels like, man, I wish this was the last call of the day. Unfortunately, it's your first call of the day. And then you see those people, good morning. And now there's this new thing, happy Monday. Okay, some people will not like that, but some people do. How do you know all this? Do you work in corporate? No, but my husband does. And his conference calls are up on high volume. So I hear everything. And I talk to him about, hey, that person said that they would finish this last week. He's like, howdy. Well. So when we focus on what is important, which is the long term, in fact, that's the only goal, everything else will come together. I've been meaning to introduce this Purushartha concept for the last month. Today, I will introduce it, and we'll end with that, okay? Sanatana Dharma. Because the other question was about, last week was about, are there good desires and, should we not desire for anything? How about success, ambition? Should we all be homeless, right? Like, what is this, right? So, in Sanatana Dharma, we say there are 4 Purusharthas, purpose in life. Right? Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Moksha is the first thing I spoke about in the very first class. Why? Because if you don't have a goal, your path will be helter-skelter. Where am I going? I don't know. Remember last week? I don't know. Jump off the bridge? Okay. Whatever is okay. And then by the end of it, your life is not yours and you don't know where you are. So we need a goal. The goal is moksha. Liberation. Freedom. Freedom from what? The cycle of rebirth. Freedom from what? Succumbing to these expectations of the world around me to the point that it drags me down and makes me a miserable person for myself and for people around me. I don't want that. In fact, I want to be the pillar of support, of love, of unconditional love, and peace to myself first and those around me. We all want that friend. Are we all that friend? Sometimes. So moksha is the goal. Then, dharma, artha, kama. Out of these 3, do I have to tell you what to desire? Oh, you should desire this, you should desire that, you should desire a new car, you should desire a new house, you should desire a new wife, you should desire a new husband, you should desire more kids. That naturally, Swatiji, what? I have a list of those. Shopping time is coming up, Black Friday, we got a list of desires ready. We're doing this home improvement, that home improvement, remodeling. Right? See, out of these 4, kama is the one thing we don't need help with. Plenty of desires we have. And people have this utopian question sometimes, but if nobody has desires, everybody will become a sannyasi. What will happen to the world? Try it. Just try it. See if that day will come. What will happen to this world? Bhagwan, if that happens, Bhagwan has entered. This avatara has come. Kalki avatara. So don't worry about that, okay? We'll just worry about ourselves. My desires. Okay, I have them. What do I do? This says kama. Throw out the kama. No. What's the process? You just telling me won't happen, okay? What's the process? Now, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. For any kama, any desire to be fulfilled, like I said, it's not a genie kind of thing. You want a house? You get a mortgage. You need a mortgage, get good credit. You need good credit, you get a bank account. You get a bank account, you use the credit card. Use the credit card, you buy things. And you pay it off. So, you need income, cash, money, mullah. You need Mahalakshmi's anugraham. We do all this Dhanteras, we do all this Lakshmi Puja. We're in Deepavali. You need the resources of money. So it's not just money, any resource, right? Now, so that's the artha. You need artha to fulfill your kama. Okay? So far we're with me. You need artha, resources to fulfill your desires, kama. So why don't we just do that? Why do we need religion? Why do we need anything? I'll make money, I'll do what I want. I'm not bothering anybody. Then what's the point of saying Sanatana Dharma? Dharma. Dharma. You make money through dharmic means to fulfill your kama, which may or may not be dharmic. Right? So at least in the way that you make the money, and that was also a point Acharyaji brought up, when you work for a company, how ethical are you being? How ethical is the company? And not just wearing shirts and volunteering one day out of the year. Woohoo, CSR! But do I feel that it is a dharmic mission? And you look at the mission statement of your companies. Look at the vision of your companies. How does your CEO handle losses? How do they handle HR, firing, hiring? Is it dharmic? Right? Then you can smile, you can say, if I had the luxury of picking my company and my boss based off of that, I would have started my own company. Yeah, right. We do what we can, right? So within that company, am I a dharmic player? At least can we go that far, right? Am I being dharmic? If I make a mistake, am I ready to push it on the next person or accept it? Am I behaving dharmically even if I work for a company that increases vices in this country? Am I being dharmic? There's somebody I knew whose father worked for the government, and it was for the alcohol licensing board or something in India. Is that dharmic? But he would wake up early every morning, do his sandhyana, do his puja, he lived a dharmic life as it came to him. He never accepted a bribe, right? So, in that way, look at ourselves, and can I be as dharmic as possible in my interactions in this company? When I walk into a meeting or open my chat for a room, am I bringing in positivity? Am I bringing in? You don't have to be like, how was your day? Smiles, daisies, butterflies. You don't have to be outside of your comfort zone. But you can be a pleasant human being, right? Which we lack. We think it's simple, but there's a lack of just being a pleasant human being, right? So, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Why dharma? Once again, that's the purpose of us saying this in a religious context. Second, only when we follow dharma in our actions to accumulate that artha, to fulfill the kama, does that dharma lead me to moksha. If I live every which way I want, make money, fulfill my desires, then I'm not going towards the goal. I'm going in this circle that we talked about. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jatare shayanam. You keep going in this circle of samsara. How do I get out? follow dharma. How did we start this verse? Vedo nityam adhiyatam taduditam karma svanushthiyatam. That's exactly what this verse is saying. Dharma artha kama moksha. Follow your dharma according to the scriptures. Work in that way, kamya. If you can get rid of the desire, get rid of it with the help of Bhagavan or your intellect. If you cannot, at least work according to dharma to fulfill that desire. You want a partner in life? Get married and have a partner in life. You want children? Do it through marriage. There's a lot of controversy in this statement. I understand that. But that's what the Shastras say. Why? Because the goal is moksha. If my goal is just to have a pleasant time in life, la la la, I come and go, I don't believe in a next janma, I don't believe in Bhagavan, what to say next janma. Those are called the materialists, right? And that's how the bhogis, the bhogis want to live life. And that's also a darshana, even not just today. Even back then, there were bhogis. They have their whole darshana, meaning a philosophy of life. I'm not kidding. They have a book, they have commentaries, they have everything. And they say, they have this tagline, Runam kritva kritam pibet. So funny, but perfect. And in Sanskritam, so you think it's so great. What is it? Even if you have to take out a loan, Runam kritva, even if you have to take out a loan, Ghritam pibet. Ghritam means ghee. Drink ghee. What is this? Ghee is considered high class quality. Why? Because you need to own cows in order to milk the cow, to make the ghee, all of that, right? So, to enjoy this world, even if you have to take out loans, drink that ghee. Go to that party. Drink. Eat. Be merry. Right? Why? The goal there is not moksha. So, what's our goal and can we live according to it? I'm still not sure. Keep thinking. Right? Like I said, I can't control desires. I can only try to control my desires, if that. But we all have to be clear about what our goal is. When the goal is clear, the actions will align. The goal is to be healthy. I will not eat that chocolate cake. The goal is to have fun. I'll eat that and more. Right? So we'll stop here and we'll do Purnamadaha. I'm stopping a bit early, so we'll have some announcements and discussion. And that's it. We'll do Purnamadaha. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti